And issue number one in the presidential campaign is, of course, the economy. Despite some recent positive trends, there is some growing concern that soaring gas prices could stall the recovery. And joining us now to discuss this is Jonathan Tisch. He is chairman of Loews Hotels. Great to have you with us, Jonathan.
Morning, Rebecca.
So how big of a deal do you think this gasoline is going to be?
Look, the economy is certainly getting stronger. We're starting to see areas around the country where employment numbers are getting better. But when people go to the pump and they're faced with putting $5 a gallon worth of fuel in their car, multiply that times millions and millions of people doing it every minute, it's a challenge. And then when you look at some of the problems that we still face in the Eurozone, what's going on in the Middle East, things are getting better, but there are clearly some areas that we're still very concerned about.
You oversee a large corporation that deals primarily in tourism and travel. How are you seeing the impact of these factors, including gasoline, but the other psychological factors you mentioned, the Middle East, the concerns about Europe, play into business?
Well, the interesting factor is that if you break down travel and tourism, people travel for business. They travel for pleasure. CEOs are letting their employees, their key executives back on the road again because their business is improving. The consumer, the last couple years, starting to feel better about themselves, so they're on the road again. But once again, the sector of higher energy prices is a challenge. So we're optimistic, but also we're a little cautious right now.
Is there a tipping point in your analysis? I mean, right now, the entire country is paying a little over $3.80 for gas, but it could be above $4 in a matter of days.
Prices historically go up this time of year for all the factors that we know, increased demand, the refineries are switching over. But if it gets to about $4.50, $5, that's going to be a challenge for all of us as Americans. And what is the impact going to be on business? It's a concern.
Issue number one has been jobs for a long time now. The unemployment rate in this country is 8.3%. We have a new report coming out for the month of February on Friday. What do you expect?
I think the numbers are going to continue to improve. Businesses are hiring. They're doing better. And if you look what happened over the last 2 years, 3 years, CEOs got their balance sheets in much better shape. There's less debt. They're sitting on some cash. They are starting to expand. But they're only going to expand if there's a good business reason for it, if there is a business case. And the challenge today is that the margin of error is so thin. You can't make a bad decision because they're going to take you down quickly. It's such a competitive world that we live in.
And by they, you mean Wall Street?
Wall Street, if you're a publicly traded company, the banks, they are so nervous because they're still working on resolving their issues. So a CEO, a head of a business, whether it's a mom and pop or a big public company, they want to expand. They want to hire more people, but they're nervous. They're always looking at what the possible downside is.
John Tisch, thanks so much. We appreciate you being with us.
Thanks, Rebecca.